When you think of Twilight, you think of vampires and werewolves, and more specifically, Edward versus Jacob. But there's more to it than just that. There are some really interesting side characters that really help build out the story. The Cullens being some of the best developed in the series. The vegetarian vampires that learn how to adapt and, well, play baseball of all things. They make the story feel more fleshed out. They add an interesting and a different dynamic. So today we're casting the Cullens for a Twilight Reboot TV series, which was just announced. This is the second video in the series, so if you're looking for Bella or even Jacob or even Charlie, check out the first video. But for today, we're recasting Carlisle, Esme, Alice, Jasper, Rosalie, and Emmett. So let's recast Twilight for today. First up, let's tackle debatably the leader of the family, Carlisle. He always seems to remain calm, even in the most tense of situations, and is extremely level-headed. He's peaceful and kind, but more importantly, is a source of wisdom. He's one of those few characters that everyone looks to for guidance, and just generally explains a lot of exposition to our characters. We need that experienced actor here, someone who's been around that block and really can provide that guidance. Now, Peter Facinelli kills it here. Him and Billy Burke are the two actors that really stand out in this series, that really nail their role. But if I was to recast it, which I'm tasked to today, Alexander Skarsgård fits wonderfully. I mean, he's perfectly progressed into this role. He has that perfect vampire feel, but he's got that calm, particular energy, which used in the right way would target Carlisle's blend of calm wisdom so well.
You've been avoiding me. I was going to apologize.
For what?
I was going to, but I won't.
I think he's got the perfect attitude for this, the perfect look, and it really just lines up well with his character. So Alexander Skarsgård as Carlisle. Next up, let's do the quote-unquote kids of the family. Now, for me in the film series, they casted way too old, and the thought of them even passing in high school was laughable to me. So I made a point to cast younger, more believable. And with that being said, let's do Alice, a standout of the family to me. Her powers alone become one of the series' most prominent. Now, she is the most agile vampire in the family, so she should have that athletic nature and be a capable fighter. Alice should have this way of her own, but not in a negative way. She has this flavor for life and is optimistic and has this confidence to her. She does as she wants. I went with India Isley, who I think has the perfect look and has that perfect nature. I first noticed her in Look Away, where she has that Alice confidence, but also show that nature of being scared and questioning when things go south.
I want to help people understand their lives by examining past experiences.
That's pretty heavy stuff.
Well, I was never really good at numbers and figures.
I think she has a beautiful confidence to her and that optimistic nature that I was talking about that really works well here. So India Isley as Alice Cullen. Next up, let's do Jasper, who of course is married to Alice. Now, Jasper is harder to read than Alice and sometimes comes off as cold. It might be because he has a hard time controlling his thirst, mainly because he's the youngest vampire within the group. Now, I do think that Jasper needs a specific look and someone who can show that pain. I end up on Mason McCarthy, who is a relatively unknown actor. I mean, he did do one scene in Stranger Things, but after seeing that he had the look, I went through his YouTube channel, and in a short film entitled After Fire, I saw little bits of Jasper shining through.
It's not like that. I don't do nothing for no reason. You wouldn't understand.
He's an up-and-coming actor, has the look, has that feel, and I think he'd be really good here. So Mason McCarthy as Jasper. Next up, let's do Emmett, who is the most physically strong of the Cullens, but possibly the most childish. He still acts like a kid most of the time, but he has that extremely competitive nature that bleeds through. He can be reckless and doesn't always think ahead when he's doing something, but he's cheerful and usually tries to lighten situations with a little bit of humor. Now, this is something that's really needed in a dark story and something that I think that we could really improve on here. I want someone who could fit really well, but can really play into that humor. I end up landing on Wolfgang Novogratz, who isn't the most burly of men by any means, but he has that little bit of smug face, and I think he does work incredibly well here. He's got that smirk, that cheerful nature, and he lightens every room he's in.
Please. You are dancing on Broadway. I'd say your life turned out pretty much exactly how you thought it would.
There's that little bit of a childish energy coming through that I think works well for Emmett, as well as that confidence that I think Emmett has as well. So Wolfgang Novogratz as Emmett. Next up, we have Rosalie, my least favorite of the Cullen bunch. Now, she can be a little self-centered and shallow, but she's definitely loyal. She's described as being one of the most stunning people in the world, and the actress should definitely reflect that. I never found that she stood out much in the movies, but maybe that's just me. And maybe this is a potential way to change that. Give more screen time, explore her a little bit further. I ended up on Josephine Langford, who has been a lot, but hasn't broken into the public much like her sister yet. I think she fits the look and the height incredibly well. She's got this sassy vibe to her, which definitely fits with Rosalie, and I can see her working really well with Wolfgang. I think she's got a strong range, and this would be a great character to build on.
I can't get pregnant. The doctor said that it'd be almost impossible for me to conceive, and even if I did, there'd be a high risk of miscarriage, so I can't.
So Josephine Langford as Rosalie. Lastly, we have Esme. Now, much like Rosalie, Esme just kind of blended in the background. She's just a character that was there. I do think there's a lot more for her to shine here and really show that soft nature that's really required for Bella and Edward. I think it's important we see Carlisle and Esme as the leads of the family and have that softness and compassion shine through. I want an empathetic actor, someone who needs intelligence, but also just incredibly warm. I ended up landing on a bigger actress because I think that works well with Alexander Skarsgård. That's why I ended up on Emilia Clarke, who has this way about her, this warmth and this motherly nature that hasn't been explored in film yet. Maybe it's in those brief stints of Game of Thrones or just in the interviews, but she seems like a person that would just sit and talk without being judgmental. All of her characters up to this date have been darker, a little bit more questioning. I think she's got the warmth to pull this off beautifully. I mean, how can you not just feel that warmth coming off her?
When I was little, my mum got me a pair of glittery wellies and I refused to take them off. I wore them in bed, in the bath, all summer long.
So Emilia Clarke as Esme Cullen. So there's the Cullen family. I tried to work with a little bit of lesser known and better known actors to really round out that cast. Let me know in the comments below who you liked here or your choices, as well as who should I move on to next. Let me know in the comments below. As always though, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.